Coach Nick Nurse has talked about how complicated it can be to figure out all the different pieces and combinations of players so far. With this new bunch that he has, and I have the clip right here, so we'll talk about it on the other end.
The chemistry, I think, feels pretty good, right? I think it feels pretty good, but it is like I don't want to say. Well, it's probably it's kind of complicated at times, right? Because even when I'm just going over like some late game situations, I'm looking at all the different options, like, okay, who's taking it out? We don't have Batum as like our automatic guy. Like, what are our choices there? Like, need a shooter flying off here. What are our choices? Well, geez, there's a few. There's all kind. There's this, and we need a speedy guy back here. We need this here. Like, I can move the pieces a lot, and I guess that is. It's not complicated. It's a little time consuming. I think it's a little experimental. Take a little time to figure out exactly what maybe is the best option, and then the next best, or maybe it's a thing where we can move positions and make it a little harder to scout. Jeez, that was a long answer for that, wasn't it?
I always love the basketball practice sound bites because you hear the balls dribbling in the background. That kind of takes up the sound. But obviously, training camp is important for every team. But my question is it even more vital for a brand new roster like the Sixers? Because there's only like a couple guys who are being brought back to this team. It's a pretty much revamped squad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because you work out sort of the kinks. You kind of figure things out. So a lot of the stuff that Nick was talking about, some of that stuff won't be figured out until they start playing games, until they start playing more. So you still have to kind of game plan for it, but the play and the way guys are playing will dictate a lot of that. If you go into it and then all of a sudden there's a guy that keeps turning the ball over when he takes the ball out, maybe that's not the guy that you won't take the ball out. But in the preseason, you had him marked as a guy that could take the ball out. So the guy, maybe he's a guy that's coming off shot, but he aren't making he's coming off screens like he said. But what if he's not making shots? So you may have somebody else may have a high hand that particular game. So it's good to kind of have a game plan, but I think it kind of takes off based on how the team is playing, either in that particular game or during the season. No matter what, we know that based on the last few years that Joel's always going to be an option, and he's always going to be considered a threat from the other team. So the guys that are the best options, coming out of a huddle, if you're the opponent, they're going to always key in on those guys. And then you basically, as far as defend them, you basically go by habits of what guys do well and try to take those things away. Well, offensively, the Sixers, we're trying to put our guys in the best situation to do what they do well. Mm-hmm. So how creative are you to be able to do that? Sort of is what it comes down to. And that's what he's talking about, different ways of getting to the point where you want to maximize your talent and put yourselves in a situation to get the bucket or get whatever's necessary to make the possible play.
It's interesting because it's like, it is complicated. He said that a lot. But like with NFL, for instance, like I feel like there's a lot more position battles, like guys who can kind of come out of nowhere and just steal a job. I don't feel like that happens as much in basketball. It doesn't seem like training camp's the place where you can take someone's job as much as you can in other sports. So like, as someone who's been there a lot, what are like the main goals of training camp? Is it like cohesion and just getting to know each other and go over kind of like at least who the starting five like it's going to be, and then go from there? But so what?
Well, I mean, more than anything, you try to come into training camp in shape to be able to get into game shape.
There you go, shape.
And you want to be able to get into game shape in the grind for the season. You want to be able to go over your sets and make sure that you have the particular timing that you need. Get the camaraderie that you need, both offensively and defensively. as well as in the locker room off the court. So you guys start spending more time together, getting more comfortable with each other. So things come a little easier on the court as far as your communication, getting your communication down, getting your rotations down, um, trying different things to see what's going to stick and what's the best fit for you, because you can have all of these plans on what you want to do, and then you can get into camp and it stinks. It's totally awful and it's not working. So you're
Yeah.
not going to stick with that. You're going to move on to whatever plan B or plan C is. So it's a way to kind of get a lot of the kinks out rather, and then you kind of dictate what it is you want to do, whether you're able to execute your plan, and kind of advance it, or if you need to scrap it and go in a different route. At the same time, you also um, put guys, and I understand you saying is there usually aren't many starting spots, yes, in play in camp. Every once in a while, you may see one or two spots, and most teams maybe one. Um, but there are a lot of rotation spots that are in play.
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
a lot of rotation spots, so you'll see a lot of guys that will come in, and you have to you have to put in those different lineups because, as we all know, injuries happen. So if you come and you got to be able to put another guy in, say for instance, Joel is out. Well, Drummond has to spend some time with that first group. You know what I'm saying? So those are different things that you need to do, and training camp's sort of the time to do it, especially nowadays because they don't practice like they used to during the season. So you have to be able to come in and throw out a lot of different things to be able to incorporate whatever system or whatever style you want to have, because it's training camp and it seems long. The training camp nowadays is very, very limited, compared to when I played. Very limited. It's shorter, fewer preseason games, and almost non-existent two-a-days. And we basically did two-a-days for a whole month if we didn't have a game. Um, Even it wasn't always hard both times, but we practiced like when we did we they the way we did it was the reason why they put in all the rules on and limiting your two-a-days and all that. In the first they changed it two-a-days, and one was supposed to be contact, one was supposed to be non-contact. But non-contact doesn't necessarily mean easy.
No. Yeah.
So
Like it's boot camp for you guys.
yeah, so it was different. So I would love to have this training camp that they're having right now. Man, I'd be
With
loving.
you, but at the same time, though, I know a lot of guys, and maybe not they don't talk about this enough because a lot of guys talk about it's softer now, all the injuries and load management, and they blame the mentality. But do you think part of it is just like they're not as prepared and in shape to start the season?
I've read people saying that. Like I don't really have the answer, but I have read that perspective, especially in football.
Oh, definitely in football.
In football, you kind of hear it even more. In basketball, you kind of hear, well, you guys have more off days. It's a longer season to give you more off days. You have fewer back to backs. You don't really practice. So why are you sitting out more games? I think the one thing the NBA has done is they have put in all of these parameters to limit guys from sitting out. So it, I mean, you kind of, you look at it from a standpoint that, injuries do happen, and legitimate injuries do happen where guys can't help but sit out.
Yeah, or it's bad luck. It
But
happens.
I think it's come to this because of the quote unquote healthy scratches. It's kind of where
Yes.
it has come to.
Yeah. As far as back to your original question, just I for all the reasons you said, I don't expect us or most teams to just be really polished out of the game. Like you said, most of that stuff's figured out in season. I'm more just about comfort level with your players, where they like to be, right? Because these guys haven't played together. Most of them haven't played together. So it's like, where do you like to be when I do this? Where do you like to be when I do this? Where are you going to be when this happens. Like I think a lot of that's for the initial gelling of these guys and just personalities to get to know each other because again, it's a new group. And I think we only have Embiid, Maxey, Lowry, KJ, and Council back. It's it across the board. Everyone else is new. Drummond knows folks because he was there semi-recently. But everyone coming in seems to be really good, like team guys, right? Like George is pretty passive, laid-back dude. Reggie Jackson, Yabusele, Caleb Martin, just like hard workers who want to win. And a lot of them chose to come here even though they got less money. So when you're doing that, you have that willingness coming into it about wanting to make it work, right? And a lot of these guys are here for multi-year deals too. So we have this team together for a little while. So I just think gelling and having fun on the court is going to be so important for these guys. And it's lucky we have kind of an easy start of the schedule. So hopefully they get some wins and get that confidence that, okay, this is working, guys. Like we're good, right?
I mean, it's going to be different, and it has to be a pure focus because there's no luxury of having a wait period for this team. They have to be good out the gate, or the birds are coming.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
The higher the expectations, the louder the boo birds are going to be. If we don't
birds are coming. If not,
yeah, the louder the sports talk radio narratives are going to be,
Yeah.
and then Tage will be counting people's pockets if we start off slow too.
as always.
Yeah, I do like the fact that this team it seems like they're already clicking with each other, like off the court, like going to Top Golf with each other, going to each other's like different youth camps they've had. It seems like a lot of these guys, like, if you didn't know any better, you would think, oh, these guys have been together for like 2 or 3 years. But no, like they haven't even been together for a week yet. So it's cool to see the kind of the collective that everyone is coming together for a common goal, and it seems like that's kind of at the forefront for all these guys.
Yeah.